Okay everybody, so today we're going to learn how to perform the freestyle stroke. Now although we're not actually in the pool, and I won't be able to demonstrate this in the pool, we're going to imagine that I am going to be face down in the pool to perform the stroke. As I go through it, I'll walk down for our body positioning and which way we should be facing, which way our palms should be facing, our toes, our hips, our chest. Now, first things first, we're going to go into our body positioning. Let's go ahead and start with our arms straight up, side by side. See? Now, it doesn't matter if you want to keep your fingertips open or closed. Now, we're going to have our arms straight up. We're going to have our head right between our arms, straight with our spine, chest up. As we're in the water, we're going to try to make sure that our hips are lifted up. Our legs are going to be kicking slightly with enough power and force to push us through. Now, as we kick, we're going to make sure that we kick between 12 inches to 16 inches apart. And as we kick, we're going to slowly rotate our hips. That also comes with the way that we're going to push through with our arms. We'll get into that in a second. So first, let's go ahead and start with our arms. Remember, you can have your fingertips open or closed. We're going to have one arm go. And as I do this, I'm going to head and have I'm going to do my hand close. I'm going to pull myself forward through the water. We're going to imagine that I am face down into the pool. My chest is facing down, my thighs are facing down. My toes are pointed back towards me as I kick forward. I'm going to be dropping into the pool. Okay. So now I'm going back to how I perform with my arms. I'm going to literally pull my body forward, right? Pull my body forward, and as I do this, I'm also going to be kicking with my toes pointing back behind me. As I do this as well, I'm going to be rotating my hips, and I'm going to be bringing my arm up, arm up. As I do this, I'm then going to be pulling this one, and I'm going to be making sure that the first thing entering the water is going to be my fingertips, and then I'll have my wrist above my fingertips and my elbow in front of, on top of my wrist. So it's going to be kind of fingertips, wrist, elbow. Remember that for your arm. Fingertips, wrist, elbow. So once again, I'm going to perform my pull myself to the water, slowly rotate my hips. As I kick, I'm going to make sure my toes are pointing back behind me. Rotate, rotate. I'm going to bring my palm close to my body, as close as possible. Now as I do this, remember, fingertips, wrist, elbow. Then I'm going to rotate my body the other way, pull myself from my left arm, bring my hand up, up. Same thing. Fingertips, wrist, elbow. Now as I do that, I'm going to make sure that my palm is facing to the bottom of the pool. Okay, this is going to give me the most force possible to push my body forward. And it's very important to make sure that as I enter the water, once I take my arm out of the water and reset, I'm going to have my elbows slightly bent, and as I finally reach to perform my pull and entering the water, I'm going to slowly extend my arm and get as much force as possible. Now, we have breathing into the technique. That's going to come into as you rotate with your kicks and as you rotate with the arms. So for example, if I'm going to be pulling my body, pulling. As I do this, I'm going to be rotating my body. I'm going to bring my hand up, palm facing toward my body. As I do this, I'm going to be rotating my head over my shoulder. Now, as I do this, I'm going to imagine as if the water is right here. My chest is submerged into the water, but as I rotate, I'm going to slightly take out my shoulder and slightly take out my face out of the water. I'm going to breathe in some air, right? As I breathe in some air, then I'm going to turn my hips again. Remember, I'm going to straighten out, have it nice and bent, nice and bent. Fingertips, wrist, elbow, and then I extend. And as I go this way, I'm going to be doing the same exact thing. Okay, so let's imagine. Let's See, perform forward stroke. Ready, ready, ready. Pull, pull, pull. Palm towards my body, palm towards my body. As I do this, I'm rotating. Shoulder faces out of the water, slightly over a couple inches. I'm going to breathe. And then I'm going to put my face back in the water and form my strokes again. Now, as I do that, it's really important that I get my movement right with my hips to make sure that I am slightly above the water when I'm breathing, and to make sure that I'm getting as much force and momentum from performing this technique. Okay, so just to go over some cues, remember we're going to have our fingertips, wrists, elbows. Now, for kicking, we're going to have hips, kick, toes pointed. Okay, so fingertips, wrists, elbows, hips, kicks, toes pointed. So just perform that one more time. Arms straight up. I'm going to pull, 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 pull. Up, 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 and let's do this. We'll rotate over the shoulder. Fingertips, wrist, elbow. At the same time, I'm going to be incorporate the kick. So pull, 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 pull. So rotate. All right.